Good morning, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. My name is Erin, and I'll be guiding you through your practice. I just want to remind you that you're welcome to rest at any time. You're welcome to skip postures altogether that don't work for you, or find a way to make them work for you too. Just taking your time to make your way through class and just kind of letting it unfold as you go. If you have blocks, you might want to leave them up near the top of your mat so that you can grab them more easily when we need them. And you can also go ahead and drink your water at any time. So we'll begin today's class in any position that makes you feel comfortable to start to find your breath and to just kind of settle in to your mat. So I'm choosing to sit today back on my heels. You could do this as well. You could also sit with your legs folded in front of you. Or many of you are laying down, and that's a great way to start too. You just want to be able to bring a little length into the spine and some ease into the hips. So to make sure you're very comfortable wherever you are. I think I'm comfortable that I've landed here in a different position, so I'm just going to stay here in my easy seat. Once you've made your way into that space, you'll just let your eyes start to float closed and begin to come to the breath, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose. Allow your hands to find a place to rest. If you're seated, they might just rest on the thighs. If you're reclined, you might just allow them to rest alongside you with the palms facing open. As we continue to breathe down into the belly, we'll just start to let whatever happened this morning go, whatever it took to get you to class today, any traffic, any discussions that maybe left you feeling a little icky, whatever it happens to be, we're just going to release it right now. Taking some long, slow, even breaths and drawing your awareness inside. We'll inhale down into the belly, let the breath start to rise up through the lungs. And when you're ready to release, you'll just let it go nice and softly here. We'll take several more of these breaths, inhaling long and slow, and then exhaling completely back out. As we breathe in, the belly expands, the breath starts to move its way up towards the chest, and then you'll just simply release. Let's get 3 more here. Reaching up tall through the crown of the head. And allowing your shoulders to soften down from ears. We'll get 1 more this way. And then on our next round, we'll start to activate the exhale. So we'll still inhale down into the belly, let it get nice and big. But when you're ready to exhale, we'll begin to lift the pelvic floor up and lightly draw the lower belly in. Release that effort, fill up with breath. And whenever your exhale is ready, we lift up with pelvic floor muscles, and then the lower belly draws slightly inward. We'll continue to work with this breath. So this is your belly bonfire breath. It's very similar to an ujjayi breath. The only difference is we're not constricting the back of the throat. We'll inhale and let the belly expand. But to exhale, we begin to apply some bandhas, some locks deep within. We'll inhale fully. As you lift the pelvic floor, that's your root lock or your mula bandha. And then when you add on that lower belly drawing in and up, that's your uddiyana bandha or abdominal lock. So these 2 locks together can make you solid, whether you're in your balancing pose, whether you're just waiting in line and you're starting to get a little antsy. It can give you something to do. And it's also going to help bring nice support into the muscles surrounding your spine. And it might help alleviate any back pain that you might encounter. And we'll take another 2 this way. Each exhale, we firmly lift in and up, but not overdoing it. And 1 more round here. Good. Now we'll just come back to the first breath, inhaling and letting go. And again, drawing the awareness inside. Just noticing any subtle changes that have already started to happen for you here. We'll take one more breath. And then on the next inhale, we'll sweep both arms all the way up overhead. And if you're laying down, you can just stretch them back behind you. As you exhale, we'll take both hands over the heart, right palm over heart, left hand places over on top of the right. Taking just a moment to acknowledge the you that resides deep within. And then we'll begin our class today by uniting our voices in the sound of Om. We'll take one breath to get ready together, inhaling and release. And inhale for Om. Have a gorgeous class, everybody. Let's open up our eyes and we'll take our time to make our way onto hands and knees. If you're on your back, you have a little bit of a longer journey than those of us who are seated, so take your time to get there. No worries. Once you're there, we'll just start with some intuitive movement maybe. Bringing your hands right underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. If your wrists aren't so flexible, you can always take your hands a bit more forward. We're going to start to activate the finger pads into the floor. If you're still waiting for the rest of class, you can just wiggle yourself a little side to side or something intuitive here just to start to get yourself a little loose. And now that pretty much all of us are here in tabletop, we will start our journey together. And we'll begin with cow and cat today. So as we inhale, we'll lift up through the head and the tail. And as you exhale, curl and round, draw the belly in and up. Inhale, arch, elbows bend a little bit. And as you curl, let's let the elbows bend too as we move. So we're incorporating as many joints into this as we can. So the hips might start to move a bit forward and back. Knees are even moving a little bit here as we come in between these two poses. And we're just going at our own pace. We'll inhale, lower and look up. Exhale, firmly curl, lifting the belly in and stretching shoulders apart. And just one more here. And let's find that cat and curl. Let's inhale and find neutral, and exhale, start to press the hips back towards the heels. They don't have to come all the way down. Inhaling now through cat with an arch, but then start to glide forward into modified plank. Exhale, lift low belly to press your way back towards child's pose variation. Inhale, lift up through cat. Now come a little forward, so we're getting a little more open. And exhaling, taking your way back. So just taking your time here, feeling how this is showing up in your body, making sure you don't feel any issues in the lower back. If it feels okay for your lower back to start to find a little bit of a back bend and a high cobra, you can add that in. But if that is feeling too intense, you're going to just keep that belly nice and strong and just come forward more here into a strong plank. And we'll just get one more like this, just taking your time. And we'll come back to hands and knees and continue to move the spine in all of its directions. When you're ready for our threaded needle pose, right arm stretches up to the sky, really peel open. Exhale, thread it through, cheek and shoulder, land. We'll do that again. Inhale, peel open. And exhale to thread it through. We'll get one more round at your pace, at your breath. This time, we will stay here in our twist. If your shoulder and cheek aren't reaching the ground and you brought a block, you could always create a little stack for yourself underneath. Otherwise, just doing what you need to do to back off here for a deeper stretch. You can start to lift your left arm and reach it towards the front of the mat, even off of it. Tent your fingers here, maybe pull a little bit with the pads of the fingers, getting that stretch to show up in the top side rib cage a little bit more intensely. And just one more round here. Full breaths both ways. Good. If you reached your left hand forward, let's bring it back under the shoulder. And on your next inhale, we'll peel back open. Big stretch, savor it. And then we'll circle that hand down to the floor, and we'll just do the same on the other side. When your inhale is ready in your time, reach up, even a little back maybe. Exhale, thread your way through. We'll move twice again at a pace that matches your breath. We don't have to all be exactly the same here. Everybody is different, and I want you to make this class best for you. This time we will land after our third one, shoulder and cheek to the floor. Maybe right arm wants to extend and reach forward. If you try something and you discover it is not a pleasant sensation for you, you do not need to stay there. Let yourself come back to the first way, or even come out completely. One more breath here. Taking your time, we'll take our right hand back under the shoulder if it moved. Inhale, reach up and out, big stretch. And exhale, hand down to the floor. We're going to spread the knees out a little wider here. Toes can touch. Start to sit your hips back towards the heels, but then we'll swing them over to one side. Inhale back through center. Exhale over to the other. We'll just do a few of these little half circles side to side, or you could do some full circles, pretending you have like maybe a crayon in your belly button here and you're trying to draw a circle right on your mat. And we'll just go the other way a couple times, starting off nice and slowly, already starting to feel nice and warm in here. And then as you're ready, we'll just take our hips back into child's pose with the knees wide. Now, if you discover this is not comfortable for your lower back or anywhere else, your hips, really anywhere, try to take your knees together and see if that's more comfortable for you. And we'll just be here for 4 breaths. This is a nice landing spot you can come back to anytime in your practice, whether you need a physical or mental break. You can just come here, close your eyes, and just come back to those big belly to chest breaths. Full breath in all the way up through the belly to the shoulders, and all the way back out. Good. All right, let's come back up to hands and knees here on the inhale. Taking knees again right underneath your hips. We'll curl the toes under this time. Start to really activate fingers to floor. Squeeze pelvic floor and low belly. And we're going for our tabletop hover, so we're going to lift our knees. So they're just an inch or two off the floor. But you're going to notice it's a lot more intense this way, right? So you're going to squeeze the pelvic floor and the low belly. So maybe we stay right here. For those of you that are used to this and you'd like a greater challenge, you can try to pick up your right leg and extend it back. Just notice what changes. One more breath here. And then we'll put that foot back down, curl the toes, knee hovers. Other leg presses back long. Try not to change anything else about the pose if you can. Interesting how it heats up really quickly here, isn't it? Let's take those toes back down to the floor and make your way up into downward facing dog. So when things get a little uncomfortable or scary, we can handle it, right? We're just going to come back to those long, slow, calming breaths. Nothing can last forever, so we can get through it. We'll get through it together. We'll take another few here, bending one knee at a time, allowing a little more length through one side of the body and then the other. Every time your hands are on the floor, you want to grip your finger pads firmly into the mat. And we'll begin to still our knees after a few here. And you can still them earlier or later. You could always keep pedaling, totally fine.
Let's bend both knees. Try to press long through your arms so you're experiencing this stretch through the spine, backing off the hamstrings a little here. We're coming into a waved plank. We'll take an inhale, knees might bend slightly more, belly starts to draw inward. Exhale, curl, lift hips. Try to move one vertebra at a time into your high plank. As you inhale, we'll bend our knees and glide back to bent down dog. Exhale, roll it forward. So I'm an ocean girl. I always feel like this bent down dog is the waves pulling out and then rolling forward, that waves rolling to shore. We're trying to move through the spine just like an ocean wave. And it takes a lot of practice, so no worries if your body can't figure it out today. We're just gonna give it one more try. Glide back with bent knees. Exhale, curl, lift hips. Pause in your high plank. Press your fingers into the floor, squeeze your glutes, heels draw back. Last in-breath. As you exhale, knees down, we're gonna slowly lower all the way down, thighs, belly, and then the chest. With your hands just under the shoulders or so, we'll find a few cobras. Tuck your chin here. Inhale, lift up with the strength of your back, also engaging the lower belly. Exhale, roll down. So now we're trying to roll just the top spine. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, roll it down. One more dynamic one here. And then the next time we come up, we're going to pause and hold. Press the fingers in, elbows draw in. Pelvic floor is lifting up as if you were internally lifting your belly up off the floor. A lot of back strength is going on here. One more in-breath. Exhale, press up to modified plank, curl the toes, take it back, downward facing dog. Beautiful job out there. Last breath. Let's travel to the top of the mat. We'll inhale, bend the knees, look where you're going. Exhale, walk your feet as many steps as they need right up to the top. We'll inhale to half lift. The hands will anchor to the shins. Pelvic floor lifts, lower belly lifts, crown of the head shines forward. On your next natural exhale, bend your knees a lot and begin to fold forward. If you're tighter in your back chain, in the hamstrings or in your back, it might feel a lot better just to let your forearms here rest on the thighs, providing a lovely support. You're still gonna get a great stretch. It's still a nice time here to kind of just let go. So your head can shake a little side to side. You can nod it yes or shake it no, whatever it is that your neck needs. If you're feeling pretty flexible here, you can start to let your hands come lower, but I really like you to do it however is best for you. Don't worry about me or your neighbor. We're all on different paths in life, so we're just gonna take our time, really bring the awareness in the body on what's going on, and make any changes that are necessary. I like to kind of sway a little side to side here. You can add any little nuances that you like. I'll just take one more round or so here. Good. We'll come into stillness for our last breath in and out. And then we'll find extended mountain. Inhale, press to both feet, lift through the belly as well. Arms sweep up, gaze might lift. We're gonna stay here. You don't have to look all the way up and bother the back of your neck. Maybe you just look a little bit higher forward. Arms reach up so everything stretches up tall, but we wanna draw the shoulders actively down the back. Not only to give you gorgeous back muscles there, but also that we're not pinching and causing any stress. One more inhale. And exhale. Final inhale, maybe reaching energetically more upwards. And then the exhale will draw hands to heart. We're gonna find our core strength sun salutation A. Inhaling, arms sweep high. As you exhale, we'll bow and hinge to the ground. Let's find half lift, inhale. Exhale, we go right to down dog. That way we get that extra waved plank in there for deep core. Inhale as you're ready, bend the knees, already engaging deep belly. Exhale, lift and roll into plank. Take an inhale. Exhale either all the way to the floor like we did before, or drop knees and find a modified chaturanga. Hover, elbows squeeze in, shoulders stay higher than elbows. You guys look strong today. Inhale up to up dog, perhaps lifting thighs, or back to cobra. Exhale, press your way up and back, downward facing dog. We'll take 3 breaths in and out. You can pedal your feet out the whole time, or you can keep them still. 1 more breath. Coming back to the top of the mat now. Inhale, look forward, knees bend. Exhale, walk your feet on up to hands. We'll inhale to half lift, nice and strong. Exhale, bend the knees and soften, balancing strength and surrendering. Inhaling, rise all the way up, lift up. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a pause. All right, let's come into a little fun chair sequence here to start to get strong and focused. We'll take the legs hips width apart, maybe even a little bit wider. I'm going to take the arms up on an inhale and feel all this gorgeous length. Exhale, sit the hips back into your chair. So you want to keep the pelvic floor drawing in. Your spine should have that nice natural curve to it. I'm going to have you sit here for a moment while I show you what's next, okay? So we're going to take an inhale when I tell you. You're going to reach your fingers forward. You're going to exhale, spin over to the right. You'll inhale, reach forward. Exhale, spin to the left. Inhale, reach forward, and then you're going to exhale, just stand up and pull strong fists in. You guys can come up out of your chair for a moment. All right. Are we ready for this? Let's give it a try. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, let's sit the hips back. We're going to create a flame by taking your fingertips together. Reach the flame to me. Inhale, reach it. Exhale, spin to the right. Inhale, reach. Exhale to the left. Inhale, reach. Exhale, strong fist, low belly in and up. We're going to go a little bit faster. Inhale here. Exhale, spin. Inhale, reach. Exhale, left. Inhale, reach. Exhale, strong and up. Keep it up. Inhale, sit. Exhale, spin. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Yes, so when you get that exhale in there in that tall mountain, lower belly, pelvic floor lifts in and up. We're going to get just a few more. You might not be in sync with everybody else, totally fine. Maybe heels start to lift. Whoa, right and left. Heels don't have to lift. Maybe you try. Last 3 here. Last 2. At your own pace is cool. Take 1 more. Nice work. We're coming back to chair though. Holy bowl. We're going to open up the arms a little bit. Pelvic floor lifts in and up. So you hear your quads talking to you? I hear them. We're going to ignore them though. Okay, we're going to breathe here. I know you're there. I love you. This is good for you quads, okay? We're here. We've got this. 1 more breath. I told you it wouldn't last. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bend your knees, soften, fold. Oh, yes. So now we're going to rest. Maybe you take opposite elbows and ragdoll here for a little extra stretch. Just allowing gravity to help draw the shoulders away. And you can sway or you can find stillness. Once again, if that's too deep of a stretch for you, you're going to take your forearms to the thighs. Over time with practice, you'll get a little lower. Maybe your body's not built to come all the way down more deeply, but you will get slightly more deeper over time. And that's all we're looking for, just some small changes. Getting healthy, physically healthy. Also learning how resilient we can be, right? 1 more round. All right. If you are using a grip, you will release it down.
And then we'll inhale all the way up nice and tall. And exhale, hands, heart center, low belly draws in and up. We'll move through a sun salutation again. Inhaling, arms stretch up. Exhale, bend and hinge nice and softly. Inhale, halfway. Exhale to down dog. Plant your hands. Take a step back there. Wave in that plank again. Bend your knees on the inhale. Exhale, pick up the hips. Wave and roll. Inhale there strongly. Exhale either to the floor or modified chaturanga. Squeeze pelvic floor, low belly. Inhale to up dog here, a cobra. And exhale, take it up and back. Let's breathe. One more. Let's take the right leg to the sky. This is a 3-leg downward facing dog. I like to play with the foot that's on the floor, kind of coming up and down onto the toes a few times. You can add that in, or if it's not feeling lovely for you, just skip it. On your next inhale, we'll kick that leg up a little higher. As you exhale, we're drawing knee into the chest, curl and lift. Try to keep it there for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, keep it back up. And one more, bring it in. 3, 2, you got this. 1, step to your hand. All right, if it didn't quite make it, you just give it a loving little help. Here you go, right foot. We're gonna try to get it right up towards the right thumb. Taking your feet hips width apart, we're in runner's lunge. Coming into a high lunge or crescent lunge. Back knee dips a bit. Front spine helps open you up. And we'll arrive here. So take a moment to find your alignment. You wanna make sure that your front knee is not coming past your toes. So that might mean you need to take a bigger lunge, or it might mean you just need to kind of back off the bend and just kind of pull it back. We're gonna come into some movement with the shoulders here. We're gonna inhale, straighten both knees up. Exhale, bend elbows, palms will face me, goalpost. As you inhale, try to draw them forward almost to touch as you straighten the leg up and reach. And exhale, down and around. And we're just gonna get 2 more. And then 2 more after that. Doesn't have to touch, just kind of a hint of it, and then we'll come back to crescent. I'm gonna stretch here. You have an option to drop your bottom knee to the floor and take low lunge, if it works for you. Otherwise, you can stay right here. Taking your fingertips to the back of the head, right at the base of the skull. You're gonna use your hands to kind of lift up here so that you're feeling a nice opening through the chest and the shoulders. Maintain that squeeze through the pelvic floor. If you notice any pinchiness in your lower back, you're gonna back off just for a moment, redo that lifting up, and that should help. On your next in-breath, we'll just take the hands up. Exhale, they come back down around the front foot. If you brought your block with you today, let's take it underneath the left hand. And find runner's twist, inhaling your right arm up to the sky. We want to have an intentional gaze, so find your focal point, that is your drishti. Maybe your gaze is to the ceiling. It might be to the side. The most stable of all is to look down to the floor, so maybe you look to the floor today. 1 more breath in, and as you exhale, we'll circle both hands down to the floor, step back to down dog. Breathe. We're just gonna do the other side, and then we'll get a nice break and a little sip of water here. Inhale, left leg up. You can come up and down on the toes of the other foot, and by the way, you could be in child's pose or drinking your water right now. It is all good, my friends. Take another big inhale, kick it up a little higher. Exhale, knee draws in, lift it high for 3, 2, keeping calm in the heat of the moment, and inhale it all the way up. Exhale, take your powerful calm knee in and up and hold. And then we'll try to step that foot right towards the left thumb. You might need to give it a little help. Totally cool. And when you're ready, we'll again lift up to crescent lunge, just on the other side, and there is never a rush. You can play around with the back knee too. If it dips down, you'll get a deeper stretch. You might not want it that deep, so you do you. Let's start to find that shoulder movement. So we'll inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, bend both knees, elbows out to goalpost. Inhale, round and up. Exhale, sit it on down. Last few. And just really make it yours. And if you fall over a little, so what? I fall every single day, right? That's how I learned to pick myself back up. Let's come back up for one more, and then we're going to come down to crescent and stay here. Taking the fingers again to the back of the skull. You're going to kind of lift up. So we're getting a nice opening up through the chest, not overdoing it in the lower back. So I used to freak out all the time when I'd screw up. I hated to get called on in class for fear that I would screw up. Then I learned that I screw up in here, it's fine. Nothing bad happened, right? So I was able to give myself a break in here first, and then I was able to take it out with me into the real world there. Now we'll take our arms up on the inhale. We're almost done. Hands down. Find your twist. With the right hand down, left arm sweeps up. Your block has 3 heights, so if you're using it, you pick the height that works. Last 2 breaths. One more. Big inhale. Exhale, hand circles down and step it on back. Downward facing dog. Take a breath in and out. Bend your knees in breath. Exhale, wave your plank. Forearm plank is going to take us a little closer to the floor, so we'll bring one arm down. Your knees can always drop as you make this journey, and then you could pick them back up once you're there, maybe, or they might stay down. Your elbows are under shoulders or a little bit more forward. I glue my palms to the floor, forearms parallel to edges of mat. You might find it easier to interlace your hands under your head. I personally think it's easier the other way because I can use not only my elbows and shoulders, but I got my whole forearms and hands helping me here. Last breath. All right, back to child's. Yay! Drop the knees. You can spread them wide or take them together, even wiggle yourself back into a place of comfort. And let yourself just completely rest. So you don't have to reach too far forward here with your hands. You can even kind of draw the elbows a little bent and back towards you so you're resting completely. Just let yourself land and breathe. This is a nice time for a water break. I'm going to take my water break here. You can join me or not. You're always welcome to take your breaks anytime. Maybe child's pose is exactly where you want to be. And when we stand back up, you decide that's when you want your water. Totally cool. Let's just come back to those nice long breaths. Try to breathe into your belly all the way up into your upper back. Let it go. We're going to add a little side bend in here while we're in child. So reaching your arms a little bit more energetically forward now. You'll start to walk both hands over to the right. And you're going to walk right off your mat. And as you're reaching to the right, you're going to reach a little more with the left hand and even take your finger pads into the ground and grip, like a little tree frog. And just find that little extra traction against the floor there to open up the rib cage and get all the way down into the hip, perhaps on that side. And we'll just switch it out. So I'll walk through center. Take your time. If you're like, oh, I just want one more breath on that side, then you'll take it. When you're ready, you'll switch. Give yourself a few moments. And one more. When you're ready, the hands will walk up, back towards the top of the mat. And we'll just take one last breath here.
Now we'll come up onto hands and knees if you're ready. Curl your toes. Back to tabletop hover. Squeeze and press. Either stay here or extend right leg back for a moment. Press. If you're still stretching in child's, don't rush out. Totally okay. Take your foot down if you lifted it. Give the other one a try. You don't have to hold it up as long as I'm holding mine. And we'll take it back down, and then let's make our way back to downward facing dog. So you might be a little more slippery now. You might need a little more action of your fingers to help you here. Really press them all down into the ground. One more breath here. Good. Let's come to the top. Inhale, look forward, knees bend. Exhale, walk, or you could always try a little hop to the front if you like to do that sort of thing. Inhale halfway, and exhale to fold. Let's rise up, sweep tall, extend. Exhale, hands to heart. So we'll just pause here in mountain with hands at heart center. You can even close your eyes if you wish. You can keep them open if you prefer. We're just kind of letting everything sink back in, finding stillness, maintaining equal weight in both feet, finding a little bit of a drawing in and up through pelvic floor and low belly, just enough so that you feel a little extra tall and proud of yourself here. And we'll open up our eyes. And we're going to make our way, I'm going to face this way, back into that twisted chair, but a slightly different variation. We'll reach the arms up to begin, big breath in there, and exhale, sit the hips back. We're going to reach the arms forward. So you can take your left hand, place it across your thighs, kind of making a table, and you can even hold on to that outer thigh. So you can kind of press. You should feel pretty strong here, knees are in line. Then we'll take the right hand onto the hip and just start to twist to the right. Now you might stay there, or you might say, I want to see what it's like to reach that arm up and get that big expansion, that kind of feel that we felt when we were working on that threaded needle, that big reach. Taking another 2. Another 1. Let's release on the inhale, sweep through center, and rise all the way up to give yourself a break. Exhale, sit back to center chair, arms forward. Right hand creates that table. Brace yourself first, pelvic floor strong. Left hand to hip, start to spin to face the other way. Maybe adding on your arm. It's just like an accessory, right? So if it makes you feel good, if it's working for you today, you add it. If it's not working, you don't. Keep breathing in and out. One more. Let's inhale all the way up to rise. And then exhale, hands are coming on down to the heart. So we're gonna just turn to face. I think we'll face this way. And I'm just gonna walk over here for a moment and then I'll get back on camera. I'm sort of on camera, hi guys. Okay, so you're gonna take your feet out wide and then turn your toes out. So we're coming towards like a goddess position here. And I'd like you to just start to sit your hips down. We wanna check the knees. Don't let them start to roll in. They wanna point in the same direction as the toes. I like to start with my fingers on the inner thigh and just move a little side to side. And I'm using a very light pressure to take my legs a little bit more out of the hip joint. And that might make you feel a little wider open here. We're still lifting and engaging the low belly. Take one more breath and we'll start to settle in the middle. We're gonna add a little bit of a twist in here, so we'll drop the right shoulder down, look over the left. Take a breath in and out. One more. Let's come to the middle on the in-breath, and then exhale to the other side. 2 breaths. One more. We'll inhale to the center, and then exhale, press up to rise. We're going to take the edges of the feet parallel to the edges of the floor. Open the arms up, 5-pointed star. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees. Start to bow your way gently down. Let your head be very heavy.
You can bend one knee at a time and start coming into some gentle side lunges as you're down here. Just starting to warm up the inner thighs a little bit. Letting your breath help guide your movement side to side. And then after a few of these, we'll give ourselves a few breaths to just come down the middle and rest it out. So if you've got tight hamstrings or tight back, you want to let your knees be bent more, maybe more than you think. So get away from what you think you're supposed to look like, and really tune into what's going on, how your muscles and joints are responding, and you adjust according to that. Last two. Hands can be anywhere, floor, blocks. Some of you very flexible, might be able to get even deeper than that. We're all in our own space here. One more breath. Let's inhale back to a half lift, taking the fingers right straight down under the nose, that lower belly, everything strong. Hands cup onto the hips as you exhale and maintain this. And then we'll press our way all the way up to rise. I'm going to pop back over here for a moment. We're going to play around with a balancing star. So we're going to keep our edges of the feet parallel to the edges of the mat and spread open. So I want you to really energetically feel so open all the way up through the spine, through both limbs. We're just going to start practicing a little balance side to side. So you can bend the right knee a bit. Just try to launch up a little, lift the left leg. So it doesn't have to lift very far. I need to give myself a little more space there. I'd like you to really more work on just that expansion. Flex that back foot out, really open, and then softly land back in 5-pointed star. And then just try it the other way. And the thing to really concentrate on here is that long energy, and stay right there. And then make your way back to 5-pointed star. We're just going to try it again. So you just try to move slowly over to one side, really open. Picture yourself like you're the sun, and these are all your rays just shooting out. And then back down, and just one more. And you don't even have to barely lift that foot up. It's just like a little. If you feel good, you can lift it a little more, but there's no perfect place. I want you to work the expansion here. And then land it back down. Arms come down. Give yourself a break. You're going to roll the shoulders just back a few times. Oh, you can close your eyes. You're going to roll forward a few times. We're almost done with our standing series, guys. We've got 2 more poses to go, and then we're going to get right back down on the floor. You're going to keep facing this way. I'm just going to go grab my block. If you have a block, you're going to bring it up near your right foot. We're going to take that star and maybe turn it into a half moon, but we're going to make our way first into warrior 2. So the right knee points forward. We're going to reach long, knee and toes point in the same direction. Flip your right hand. When you're ready, we'll inhale to reverse warrior. Exhale, take a moment in extended side angle. Take your forearm onto your thigh. Reach the opposite arm up. We're expanding in all directions. One more breath. If you have your block, reach for it. We're going to take it with us. Inhale, sweep up to reverse again. And now exhale, start to come to extended side angle, but bring your arm more forward, push off the back leg. And now we're opening up into half moon. So we've got the hand on the block, hand might be on the floor, maybe a water bottle if you don't have the block today might work. Strong glutes, strong back heels, stay right there for me. One more breath in. And as you exhale, land back in warrior 2. Beautiful. We're just going to reach down, grab the block so we can take it to the other side. When you're ready, come through your star, pivot on your heel, toes point to belly bar. Left toes point back to the back of the room. You can put your block down near your foot. Let's reach into our warrior 2. Lifting up through the front. Breath here. Flip your palm. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Exhale, extended side angle for a couple of breaths. Energize in all directions. Gaze for the floor if you like. It's a little easier. We'll inhale up and back, taking the block with us. And then exhale to half moon on the other side. Last hurrah moment for us. Expand, expand, expand. 2 more breaths. Last full round. Leave your block there. Slowly try to land in warrior 2. And whether or not it was slow, however it was, we landed. We are there. We made it. Flip that hand up. Inhale, sweep up and back. And we'll just exhale, hands to the floor. Make your way to downward facing dog. Pedal it out a little bit here. 1 more breath. Bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, wave your plank. It's your last waved plank. I'm sorry, do you want more? No? Okay. We're going to come back down into forearm plank. So we'll come down onto one elbow and then the other. Now remember, knees can come down. Whole body can come down. If you're like, I've had it, Erin, it's enough for me, you can just come down. If you're like, I want more, give me more, roll a little forward on your toes, a little bit back. This is a plank saw. Every time you kind of shift your center of gravity around, stuff starts to change. And through change, we maintain our calm strength for another 4, another 3, another 2. And look how close that floor is, right? Oh, come all the way down onto your belly. Let yourself land. One cheek to the floor. Arms just reach out. Let's bend our knees here and just flop your feet a little side to side. Oh, yeah. If you've got tight quads like me, you might even get a little quad massage in there. Otherwise, it's more about low back. I know. We can just turn our head the other way. Just like picture in a sauna or something, right? It's totally relaxing to your body. It's all good. We're going to come back here to bring our head to face down. We're going to get into a few back strengtheners in. We'll take our hands back up underneath the shoulders. We're coming back to cobra. We'll tuck the chin a bit to begin with. I'd like you to press the tops of your feet into the floor so much so that your knees might just kind of lift up a bit. And then when you're ready, use your back strength to lift up the chest and just bring your gaze wherever it would naturally land. We're pressing the fingers, trying to draw ourselves a little bit more forward here. It's really all about back strength. Your hands are assisting very, very little, maybe 10%. Keep breathing for 3, for 2. One last one, maybe coming up just ever so slightly higher. And exhale all the way back down to relax your arms fully. Notice how just stretching the arms out alongside really helps the shoulders relax. Take one more breath. All right, last one here. This is called skydiver. So bring your gaze down, forehead or chin down. Make those cactus arms or goalpost arms again. This time we'll rest them on the floor, elbows in line with shoulders. Bend both knees. Bend your ankles or flex the ankles so soles of the feet point to the sky. Take a breath in to prepare, and as you exhale, lift chest and thighs up off the ground and just picture yourself free falling, right? I won't sing, although I was totally tempted to bust out in Tom Petty right there, but I'm not gonna do it. Keep breathing. But now I got a plane in my head, and it's making this a lot easier. Last two. One more. Inhale, maybe lift up just a little higher, catch a little more wind. And then exhale down, head faces the other way. Oh, we are done there. If you like that windshield wiper with the feet, you can come back to that and just let them move a little side to side. I also like to swing my feet in little half circles. It's kind of reminiscent of those little half circles we were doing in Child's. That really feels nice for me. I enjoy that a lot. You can add that in here. And we're just going to find a little stillness. And just one more breath. All right, let's flip it up and over. Press up onto hands and knees. We are making our ways now onto our back here. Oh, this is going to feel so good. I'm like so excited. All right, here we go. So I would like you to draw your knees up in towards the chest. Let that added weight start to melt you down into the earth. Grabbing water, towel downs, whatever you need, whenever you need. Once you've made your way here into Apanasana, or knees to chest pose, you can either just bring hands onto the shins. You can see if you can wrap all the way around to hold the elbows. Maybe rock slightly from side to side. I like to inhale and rock to one side, and then exhale, rock to the other, just kind of creating my own music here. Something to help me dance to. And just another few. We're trying to let everything be heavy so that more parts of your back body start to melt to the earth. I'm going to take a hand onto each knee and just press your knees away from you, open them up, and then draw them in and around. So we're just kind of massaging out the hip joint, massaging the lower back a little bit. And let your hands kind of go along for the ride, so it's your belly muscles that are moving the legs out and drawing them in. Connect to that very deepest layer of abdominal muscles. And I'll just start to make these same circles in the opposite way. And it's a light abdominal work here. You can make it more intense by opening the legs further away from you, maybe so that your fingertips can just barely hang on. Now I'll just get one last one. And then take the knees back in. Bless you. We'll come into our dynamic bridges first. Let's take our feet to the floor. So this is going to be a strengthening move rather than all about flexibility. If you're used to dynamic bridges, you can take it with one leg up. That is going to be much more intense, so you could even give it a go and then change your mind. So either taking both feet down and the heels either under the knees or a little bit more forward and hands planted strong into earth alongside, or we can lift up the left leg up to the sky. We'll take an inhale to press up and an exhale to lower, and we'll lift and we'll lower. And if at any time you've got that leg up and you're like, you know what, I'm good here, I'm just gonna let it come down, that's fine with me. This is your yoga practice. Last two. On this last one, hold it up. So either with the leg up or the leg down. One more breath in. And then slowly lower all the way down. And we're just going to either do it again or switch sides. So maybe other leg is up. We'll take an inhale and lift. Exhale to lower. I love it. Breath sounds amazing. I'm back in that ocean. The breath is making me feel like I'm there. Just like those waves, that same gorgeous sound as we continue to lift and lower for 3,
For 2. On this last one, we hold, we expand, maybe engage low belly. See how that can provide a great support for you. 1 more breath. And then slowly bring the hips down, both feet down. Right leg will come up to the sky. And you can just walk your hand either to the thigh or maybe to the calf. I would like you to bend your knee. And using your hands, you're going to try to pull your right hip down into the floor. So what that means is rather than yanking your toes to your head and overdoing it and letting that hip leave, I'd rather you worked on a long spine, soften your knee, and if you can reach your foot even, you can kind of pull downward on the sole of the foot. You're still gonna get a nice hamstring stretch in there, but it's also really lovely for your lower back. If you're more flexible here and you've done this before, or even if you haven't, you're just flexible, you can start to straighten the other leg down your mat, and that's gonna make things a lot more intense. You can stay there or not. Last 2. Last one. For one last abdominal work here, let's tuck the chin. Inhale, lift your forehead up towards your shin. Exhale, stay there. Maybe the leg descends a bit more, maybe it doesn't. Last inhale. As you exhale, shoulders come back down, head finds the floor, and we will take that foot to earth. Lift the opposite leg up, bend your knee. Walk your hand up to thigh, calf, ankle, wherever you like. Soften the knee, soften the breath. Let your eyes be closed. As you remember all those little nuances of what to do with your spine and leg to help it relax and stretch out slowly without injury. We are also trying to relax the face, relax your jaw, maybe sliding other legs straight if that's for you. Maybe the other side was good and this side isn't, or maybe vice versa. So just be open and curious without getting upset at what you discover, or just notice. For our last moment here, we can tuck chin, inhale, lift up with the strength of your core. So not using hands to pull, I could even let go if I wanted to pull myself up, maybe taking the leg a little closer. 1 more breath. And then as you exhale, we're gonna come down and let the foot ground. We'll take both feet back to the floor. We're adding one of my very favorites. This is very simply a stretch for your lower spine. We're going to take the heels of the hands up into the creases of your hips, and your feet are just under the knees or so. With your thumbs on the inside here and pinkies on the outer thigh, start to just gently press the tops of your legs away. And see if you can kind of feel that space that you're creating right in the lumbar spine. Yeah, right? It's good stuff. So just gonna breathe into that. This is something else I do every single day. Really beautiful stretch if you're feeling any back pain there, if you've been sitting a long time. You decide how vigorously to press. 1 more. Let's release the hands down. So we're gonna come back up into bridge, but this time it's all about the stretch. Hands alongside, feet again right under knees. We're gonna try to roll our way up this time. So as you inhale, we'll start to lift the hips, work your way up through the spine till you're up on the upper back. As you start to come onto the backs of the shoulders, you might walk shoulders closer to each other under you. That's gonna bring the meatier, more muscular part of your shoulders beneath, and that might make you feel better. Try not to walk your shoulders down in a way that can bring too much pressure on the neck itself. Kind of takes that support out of it a little bit. Your neck should be very comfortable here with a natural extension. We're trying to draw our knees forward and focus on the opening in the front side body. So if you can imagine what you look like sitting, this is kind of the opposite action in the thighs, so it's a nice release for that. One more breath in and out. Good. As you inhale, shoulders walk back out. Exhale, lower down, one vertebra at a time. Let's come back to that spinal traction just for a breath or so. Slide the tops of the hands back to the top. Gently press away. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to make our way into reclined bound angle. You can release your hands from the thighs, take them alongside. Soles of the feet will join together, edges of feet on the ground, and the knees are just going to open up. If you're finding this is not comfortable for your hips, if you have blocks with you, you're going to prop them right up under your outer thighs there and just let the blocks support you. If this isn't comfortable and you don't have blocks, a nice kind of opposite motion, but one that might feel better, is to take your feet onto the floor once again, a little wider, kind of edges of mat, and we'll let the knees knock in. So it's just an opposite action. So you can pick the one that is feeling best for you. And we'll just take 5 breaths here. Turn the lights down a bit. Let's try to breathe all the way up into the ribs and release all the way back out. Inhaling belly, ribs, collarbones. Exhaling in the opposite way. Last 2. And last one. We'll come to a modified version of half pigeon, also called a figure 4 stretch. Let's take our feet back to the ground. We'll take the right ankle now and cross it over on top of the left leg. You're going to take it just below the knee so you don't feel any pressure there. So this is another one of my spinal traction faves. So sometimes I'll start with that, pressing the tops of the thighs away. You add that if that's something that is working for you. Don't have to add it into every single asana that we do here, just because it's an option, just if it's nice. This might be a really intense stretch as is, so to intensify it a bit, you can press your grounded foot more into the earth. Maybe very lightly pressing the open at the top of the thigh, just very gently rolling it open. Don't crank the knee out necessarily there. And what I really love to do is to thread my right arm in between my legs there and take all 10 fingers around the left thigh. Start to draw the legs in. Now this is good for me. If it's not good for you, you do your thing. I then generally, I think every single time actually, take little circles with my knee in one direction, just kind of lovingly coaxing the hip a little more open, and then you'll just take those circles to go the other way. And then whenever it's feeling like your time, yeah, that's it, that was your time, I heard that sigh, and you just settle right down into the middle, maybe finding that stillness. We'll take another 3. Another 2. And another 1. Okay, we're going to keep our right ankle where it is, but just take your left foot back down to the floor. Stretch both arms straight out-ish with palms down. We're going to play around rocking the knees from side to side. So we're going to start off dropping our legs over towards the left. Come to the outer edge of your foot. And then inhale through
the sole of the foot. Exhale to the inner edge and the knees drop to the other side. And we'll just roll a few times each way, just kind of getting accustomed to it. We'll go back the other way. Then at some point, you're going to land over on the right side first. Or the left side first, excuse me. Let's do left side first. When you do the left side first, the sole of the right foot might come to the floor. If you're discovering something doesn't feel right, lower back, hip, anywhere, you can uncross your legs and just let both knees kind of stack and bend over to the side, taking a much gentler version of this twist, taking all the hip work out of it. Then we'll just see how it feels to go on the other side. So we'll start to inhale, lift up through the middle, and then now landing over to the right, inner edge of left foot on the floor. I tend to kind of wiggle my left foot a little closer to the left edge of the mat there. Now, if you're noticing this is too intense, you're just gonna slide your right ankle off of your knee over here for another 2. Maybe 1 or 2 more. Just taking your last breath, and I'm finding an urge to stretch my arms up long behind me on that last breath, like a morning stretch. So I'm going to give that a try. See how that feels for you. And then we'll take the arms back alongside, slide your ankle off, both feet towards edges of mat, and we'll windshield wiper side to side a couple of times before we do all of that on the other side. So we'll take the feet again, hips width, coming to figure 4 first. Left ankle crosses over on top of the right here. You can add a little spinal traction in or not. Maybe you're just allowing your arms to rest alongside, Shavasana style, with the shoulders resting on the ground. A lot of space between your ears and shoulders. Palms always face open, so that we're open to whatever the universe or whatever your soul is trying to send to you here. If you would like to move further, you will take your hands to interlace behind the right thigh, drawing the legs to the chest, adding those lovely circles perhaps. Coming back to nice, long, slow, even breaths if we forgot them. Circling the other way. At some point, just finding some stillness in no rush. Inhale fully. Release. 3 more. Two more. Last one. I love a synchronized sigh. Let's take the feet down, or 1 foot down, right? Arms can spread back out to help the shoulders stay grounded as we start to let the knees fall side to side. So we're going to let them fall over to the right first. Sole of the left foot might touch, might not land all the way. And then inhale it up. Exhale it slowly over. And we're just kind of moving and grooving to the beat of our breath, side to side, at a beautiful, slow, loving pace. And then the next time we come on over to the right, we'll land. Let's see if the foot can land or not. Let yourself come into an easier twist, just taking ankle off and stacking both knees if you wish. Last few moments. And then when it's time for you, we'll inhale up through center, And start to let your knees fall to the left, and you can kind of wiggle your right foot a little closer to the right edge. Try to find a softness in the shoulders, even if you need to slightly rearrange yourself a bit. Nice neutral spine. Make sure it's not being, your head isn't being pulled too far away from you here. And we'll just be. Last two. And just one more. Ankle slides off knee, foot lands towards edge of mat. Just windshield wiper a couple of times. Maybe you take knees back in and just give yourself a hug. Just kind of tune into the places of your body that need a little something here. And just give it to them. Relaxing, massaging, coaxing. And now whenever the time is right, you'll make your way to Shavasana, but I would like you to take your time. If you have any issues with your lower back, it will serve you best to just let your feet be on the ground, bend your knees, and maybe walk your feet out just slightly wider than hips so that the knees can gently knock inward, and you'll discover that there's this little hover point, if you can get your feet in just the right place for you, where there's no effort at all required to keep your legs here, and you can fully just let yourself relax. If it's comfortable for you to extend both legs long, more than welcome to give that a try. If you've tried it and you say, I really think I was best off before, there's nothing holding you back from moving. Nothing keeping you in a place that doesn't work. Nothing other than your mind, right? And that includes off the mat as well. We can start off with some pranayama, those long, slow, controlled breaths, to give ourselves something to focus on and to help activate our parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest system, the one that tells us we're safe. And this is the system where the healing can begin on physical, emotional, and mental levels. Notice any emotions that come up. Every emotion is welcome here, whether it be joy, peace, fear, anger, sadness, every single one. You know, most of us were probably taught to push the ones that are a little uglier or make other people feel uncomfortable and keep them within. This doesn't serve you, it might serve somebody else to not have to see you go through that. But it doesn't serve you at all to keep it within. So if something starts to arise here, just let it be. Let yourself feel it. You're in a safe space among like-minded people who are right there with you, all just providing a subtle, silent support. You don't have to try to force anything to come. Just let yourself be open for something that might wander its way in. We've got just a few more moments to savor. Anything that's going on after class is going on after class. So we don't need to invite it in here. I would like to give you the opportunity to remain in this peaceful, relaxed position throughout the remainder of your class, all the way into our final Om and our final Namaste. If you're someone who likes to take those two final things in a seated position, you will start to slowly bring movement into fingers, toes, wrists and ankles. No, this isn't a better, more advanced, or anything else option to take. It's just a personal preference, nothing more. When you're ready, if you're coming to seated, you'll give yourself one final big hug. Thank yourself for showing up. It's the hardest part, just getting in the car, driving here, making that commitment. Rocking off to one side, pausing in a fetal position. If you're making your way to a seat, you'll start to use your hands to press yourself up. If you would rather stay reclined, please don't move a muscle. If you are seated, you're either with legs folded in front or you're sitting back on heels. Let's all take our hands back over the heart, just the way we began. Palm down, right palm down I usually place, left palm over the right. Could always switch that up just for the heck of it. Take a moment just to tuck your chin if you're seated. Honoring that you, that brand new you, that new you've created right at the center of the heart. We'll then take our hands to prayer. Thumb knuckles rise up to third eye, whether you're seated or lying down. You can take them here. And we'll find our final Om here. Take a big breath in. Sigh it away. Inhale for your Om. I thank you all for coming this morning and allowing me to guide you through your practice. The love and the light within me deeply honors the love and the light in all of you. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for a great